Hi y'all, Savannah here. So today I wanted to show you how I made the Mirror of Erised. I wanted to do something for my son's birthday. As you know, we're doing a Harry Potter birthday, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on decorations or anything, so I wanted to make something that was really nice looking, but also very cheap. So all I needed to use was some cardboard and tin foil, a little bit of paint and hot glue, and I was able to make the Mirror of Erised. So if you want to know how you too can also make one of these for cheap, stay tuned.
I wanted to draw out my design before I put it onto my cardboard. So I just took some printer paper and taped them together, just looked at it on the cardboard to see if it would be a good size, and then I went ahead and drew out my mirror using a picture as a reference. So this took a little bit of time and it was a little bit of trial and error, but I just kind of measured it according to my cardboard, got a general idea of how big I wanted things to be, where I wanted my little cutouts to be, and I went ahead and just drew it out like how I thought would look best. Now these little window cutouts were really tricky because they had that pointed curve to it, so it was kind of hard to figure that out. But once I was happy with it, I went ahead and just cut out my design because I was going to put this directly onto my cardboard in order to trace it. So after I went ahead and cut this out, I just found the center part of my cardboard and marked that so that I could place this directly in the center. And I just went around and I traced my edges. Now I used a straight edge just to ensure that even as I was tracing, it would keep the lines straight. And I just extended my lines all the way down the side of the mirror. Since they were straight lines, I didn't feel like I needed to do those ahead of time. And then all I did was flip my piece of paper over and used it for the other side. And this way I could keep it completely symmetrical and I didn't have to worry about any kind of symmetry issues. And again, I just went ahead and did the straight lines directly onto the cardboard. Every time I finished the outline, I just went ahead and cut out a section so that I could trace it out. So any lines that I had on my drawing, I just went ahead and cut them out, placed it back onto my lines, traced around it, and then cut out the next section. And once all of those parts were done, I used an X-Acto knife to cut out my windows in the top part of my mirror because there was no way I was going to be able to use scissors for that. So I just made sure I had it nice and even, and then I just taped it directly on there, and again I just flipped the paper over and did both sides. After that, I free drew in the designs directly onto the cardboard. So I just put in all the little details, the little curves on the top, the little designs, and the little spindle poles at the top of the mirror and all that. And all I'm doing now is just going over that with hot glue, and in some of the parts that I thought that would probably be sticking out more than others, I filled it with hot glue, and the other parts I just outlined it all with hot glue. And I just did this to give it a little bit of extra dimension because if it was just a flat piece, I didn't think it would look as realistic, and this definitely gave it more of a realistic look. I do want to tell you though, I learned something as I was doing this, and that is when you are filling in large areas with hot glue, you don't want to get the glue gun too close to the actual cardboard or paper or whatever it is you're gluing. Kind of leave it above and let it just glop out a little bit. That will make your little section a lot smoother. The areas I didn't do that, you could kind of see little holes or little lines where the glue was that wasn't very smooth. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. And also know that this is a time-taking activity. This was not a super quick project. I think in total, from the beginning, drawing it out until the end, it took me probably about 6 hours to complete. It wasn't necessarily hard, but it did take a little bit of patience to do it. So all I'm doing here now is taking my X-Acto knife again, and I'm just cutting out those windows and just taking my time. I would just score the top part of the cardboard, and then I would kind of lift the cardboard up a little bit and make sure my X-Acto knife went all the way through, and then follow the lines that I had scored to begin with. So I did that for the little top cutouts as well as the big part of where the mirror is going to be. So this is how it's looking. I'm Really happy with how it's turning out. I wanted to give it a little bit more of an aged look, so I didn't go directly over it with gold. I wanted to give it a darker base color. So this is just a gray, like chalky type of paint. Now it doesn't have to be chalk paint, this is what I had, so it's what I used. But so I just went ahead and did a base layer in that gray color, and then I went over it in a bronze. I would have used gold if I had it, but I can't go to the craft store now because of the quarantine, so I'm using what I have, and I think the bronze turned out really nice. It kind of gave it more of an aged look, I feel, so I'm happy with the way it turned out. But after I did the whole mirror in that bronze color, I wanted to do the outside edges in black, and I thought it gave it really a nice contrast. It makes it look a lot more bronzy and goldish than it did without that border, so it made it really nice. And then all I did again was use that big paintbrush and kind of just did a dry brushing of black over top to make those little details that we did in the glue stand out. Here I'm taking tinfoil. Now if you have a mirror, you can totally use a mirror, but I don't have one. I'm not going to go out to buy one for a birthday party. So I just took tinfoil, put it shiny side down, and taped it to the back. And I think it looks good. I mean, it's not a mirror. It doesn't work like a mirror, but it has the effect that you want. To keep that secure though, since it is just tinfoil, which is not very strong, I put that cardboard that I cut out originally from the cardboard on the back and taped it, and I got a second piece to go behind those little window cutouts on the top and just taped it down. And later on I did hot glue it to make it more secure. So this is how it turned out. I think it looks really good. You can see the little details. It has that reflective feeling to it. You know it's not a mirror, but like I said, if you have a mirror, it would look really good with this. And I think it turned out to be a little over 2 feet wide and about 4 feet high. Now, if you want to do something like this, but you don't want to draw out the initial drawing for it, let me know, put a comment or a like on my video, and if I get enough, I will upload my actual drawing so you can use it as well. If you like these types of videos and you'd like to see more, please subscribe as I try to upload 2 times a week.